Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets.
That's right. That's right.
Wouldn't it be cool if we had like a super splashy open
That's never going to happen.
instead of me holding up the Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets that's on the back of I think it's a credit card statement.
Oh my gosh. I think that that's pretty much the level of, preparation and, skill that our viewers have come to expect from us.
Well, we do run a pretty a garage band effort here. It's funny. I even have a hard time calling this a podcast, Bob, but that's I think that fits within that. Anyways, hello everybody. I'm Matt Ryan, and of course, I'm joined with my good friend Bob Geis. What are
Likewise.
we talking about today? So, where are we, and what are we talking about, Bob?
Okay, so this is a special episode. This is yet another special episode, viewers. This is we're still in a masks hiatus as we reassemble the troops. But this is our fifth special episode wherein Matt Ryan and I will be covering some of our favorite scenarios. We've each picked two scenarios. And now these are different from our last special episode where we talked about campaigns. These are going to be scenarios that you can do as either a one shot or like a 1 and 2 shot, evening of play. And some of these, those are some of the best, right? Again, not everybody wants to have the campaign experience or has the time to commit to a campaign. And sometimes it's nice to have a little bite-sized bit of Cthulhu for you. And I run a bazillion of these different one shots at conventions. But for my home group, I also have run a ton of scenarios. And so I picked out a couple of scenarios that I am excited to discuss with Matt Ryan.
That's fantastic. Now you've got we both of us we have vast collections. Your collection, I'll bet is deeper than mine. Mine can be kind of wide. I've got some crazy shit in here, but before we get into the reveals, I've got a belch coming. Hang on. The classy podcast. Before we
This
get into
is
the reveals,
would
what
be like if
makes
this was a real podcast, they would have cut and then re-edited, but not us. You get
right?
it raw with us viewers.
That's right. That's right. You do. This is right. If we had editing capabilities, which we don't because we're lazy. But
That's
okay,
right.
Bob, here's my question to you. What makes a good scenario? I want some rough Geis rubric for
Yeah.
what makes a good scenario.
I think that it has to have, again, and it's very difficult to quantify because you can have a bad scenario and a good game, right? Because if you know that if you know that you have a bad scenario and you know that you have a dog, and it's like, okay, I'm going to run this dog, but I'm going to put a spin on it that I know my players will like, right? And I think it's important to know if you're running a dog, you need to know you're running a dog, right? Because again, if you think it's great, you're in big trouble. So what makes a great scenario? Obviously, it needs to have an interesting plot. It doesn't necessarily have to be a super original plot. It doesn't need to be like, oh my gosh, I never thought about this. But it needs to be hinged together with a good setting, good NPCs, good characters, a good hook.
Yeah.
And a good reason to go through it. So a lot of those things can really bolster up a rather benign, plot or scenario seed as long as it has all these good stuff around it. That's what I'm thinking at least. What do you think?
I like a scenario with instant buy-in. I like to be able to hand out pre-generated characters
Hmm.
and people can look at that and say, yes, I get it. I like there to be something very direct for people to do immediately. That
Hmm.
a good scenario is not a sandbox scenario.
Oh, I
As,
agree. I
as
think
soon as
that
I read sandbox in the description, it goes on the shelf because
I yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
on.
interested in floundering players.
Yep. No, I don't think Cthulhu is a game well suited to sandbox, right? I don't think it's a good sandbox. Now, you can have an investigation. Now, some could argue, well, Masks of Nyarlathotep is a sandbox. No, it's a scenario with lots of choices where you can go. You can go to a lot of different locations, but it's not a sandbox, right? It is, at least in my opinion. I don't
Do the
like.
voice again. Do the voice
Huh?
again. Your voice.
This one here, it's a sandbox.
Stop it.
No, it's
You're
not. No,
kidding
it's
me.
not.
All right. So, wait, see, that's a whole nother episode. I think Masks is very sandboxy,
Eh, eh.
litter boxy. All right. Well, enough. Who's going first, you or me?
You go first. I went first last time, I think.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna come up with. Oh, you know what? I don't have the damn thing. Wait, here. Let me talk while I move around the studio. The fans love when we move around, Bob.
I didn't know that.
Here we go. Okay. A very favorite scenario of mine is The Haunting.
Okay.
From right from the start, right from the
Yep.
introductory, it came with the original game. The version I run has not much changed. This is from the free quick start guide that
Yep.
Chaosium did a fair bit ago, and this is actually a printout because I think you can still get the files online. I used The Haunting with the fancy props from the Call of Cthulhu classic prop set. Again, another fine effort from our friends at the HPL Historic Society. And I like it because historically it's many people's first entry into Call of Cthulhu.
Fantastic.
Many people, including my wife and my daughter, the very first scenario of Call of Cthulhu they ever played was The Haunting. So
Wow.
there's a tradition there that I like. I also run games for people that have never played. I do it at conventions. I do it at parties. I do it for my neighbors. And I don't have to think about The Haunting.
Mm-hmm.
It goes, from, I can do it without any prep. I've done it
Yep.
so many times now. And you don't need to know anything about anything. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to know anything about Lovecraft. You don't need to know any of that stuff. It's a weird undead sorcerer that's haunting a house.
You can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong. It's a classic for sure.
So it's not an exciting pick.
No, but it's a classic pick, and I love it. I love it. I mean, it is. It is one of those quintessential scenarios that everybody's played and everybody's enjoyed.
Yes.
Great intro scenario.
All right, your turn. Wow me.
All right, I'm going to go with Mist or no Blackwater Creek. Blackwater Creek from this little this is the insert that comes with the keeper screen, right? So Blackwater Creek, written by Scott Dorward. I ran this last gosh, when was it? Okay, so long story short, I was planning on going on a camping trip with my friends. We were going to go to West Virginia and we were going to go on a Cthulhu camp out, right? And
I'm familiar with this episode of Geis history.
yes, and so it didn't quite happen, but I did prepare Blackwater Creek for that Cthulhu camp out, and I ended up running it. And I thought it was going to be a good scenario, but I was really pleased with how much fun it was. It was both fun to run and for the players to interact with. And it is, contrary to what we were just talking about, it's a little bit of a sandbox, right? But I will argue also that it's not really a traditional sandbox because the way I see a sandbox is you don't know what you're doing and you're moving around until you encounter something to do. You're given a job in Blackwater Creek, and one of the things I love about the scenario
Motivation.
is, yeah, and there are pre-gens in it, I believe. Yep, there are pre-gens, and you can approach this scenario in a couple of different ways, which I really think is clever. You can play it as like you're gangsters looking into a thing, or you're like university students looking into a thing. It's the same thing, but you're just two different entry points into it. And I really like that. So
I
yeah,
do too.
there you go.
I do too. I really like that you can go as a team of students and there's motivation there. And I like that you can go as a team of gangsters and there's some kind of bootleg connection, right? The
Yep.
gangsters are trying to interrupt some bootleggers or they are
Yep.
bootleggers or something.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Bob, that's an interesting pick.
Thank you. Thank you. And what's your second pick?
Well, it's funny that you say something because my second pick is not Blackwater Creek, but it is Mist Dews.
All right. The other's the
Uh,
sister volume.
the sister scenario in this, penned by your friend and mine, and the current line editor for Call of Cthulhu, Mike Mason.
Mason, yeah, I've heard of him.
Have you heard of him?
I have.
He's twisting as you say that. Here's why I like this. Because it's set in Arkham, and because I made a great map of Arkham, so that I can lay the map out on the table, and a map really helps anchor thing. And the map that Mike and I did for the Arkham book that just came out, Mike came up with so many destinations and locations that are mentioned in Miss Dews appear on that Arkham map. So I can put the Arkham map out on the table. I can hand out pre-gens. Now I came up with my own pre-gens for this because I'm quick with Adobe Creative stuff, and I came up with some time mug shots and characters
Nice.
for the different characters, and in Miss Dews, right? Everybody's playing a criminal as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
So I had this idea that I could do Miss Dews with this set of criminals,
Yeah.
and then I could, if I wanted to, do Blackwater Creek with the same set of criminals, turn it into
Oh,
like
nice.
a linked thing. That never happened. Miss Dews does something that I like, and I think a good scenario does this. It's a bit of an accordion. It's
Hmm.
got a firm beginning that's instantly understandable and people
Yep.
can and get a hold of. It's got a really solid ending,
Hmm.
and then in between, it's sort of flexible. So if I'm running a 4-hour game, we can go around, we talk to the different people, we can explore Arkham. If I'm running a 3-hour game, I just tighten up the middle.
Yeah. That's
You know,
fantastic.
I just kind of feed them the clue that triggers the final location. Yeah, and again, it's I think a good keeper is 75% entertainer and 25% magician, and knows how to force cards. That's the analogy, and kind of and make things happen when it's time for things to happen.
Mhm.
Especially in a scenario, especially in a limited time scenario.
No, I agree. I think that's fantastic. Blackwater Creek was more thematic with the Cthulhu campout, but Miss Dews, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna
Give
give
it a
that a
shot.
shot. Yeah.
Give it a shot. Um, Blackwater Creek is a lot more machine gunny. I
Yeah,
do
well,
like
again, I played it
I
with
do like
students.
handing out machine guns, and I like a bit of gunplay towards the end, and that doesn't really happen in Miss Dews.
No, it okay, okay. All right.
But there's no reason why it couldn't. I guess I mean I could have given them all. Anyways,
Are you ready
let's
for the
hear.
next one?
I'm
All
ready.
right.
Let's hear it. Let's
All
hear
right, the next one from Cult of Cthulhu, a
it.
recent publication.
Interesting.
Yes, Cult of Cthulhu, which I think is a great, great book, and it has three very interesting scenarios in it. It has a gaslight scenario, a 20s scenario, and a modern scenario in it, all, a little linked, but not really. And the last scenario, the modern scenario, is called A God's Dream, and it is really, really good. I really enjoyed it. When I read it, it was like, holy cow, what am I reading? This is good stuff. And I did a little bit of an interesting thing with A God's Dream. I was at the same time running a Delta Green game.
Okay.
A Delta Green, which is a game, a sister game to Call of Cthulhu. We've talked about it a
Sure.
little bit, and I was running it using the Delta Green background in Call of Cthulhu 7th edition rules, right? So, and it
Sure.
was super easy. And this fit magnificently into a Delta Green setting. I was able to easily run a God's Dream with my players and their Delta Green characters. And it was a great time. It's a really interesting scenario. And I had a heck of a good time with it.
That's funny. I did the maps for that book, but often when I'm do the maps, much to Mason's chagrin, I don't read the supplied text. I just don't have the time. I'm like, I'm putting together the things I'm trying to hit a deadline. Well, that's an interesting one. And the other nice thing about that, a nice thing about all four of these picks really is that if anybody hasn't run these and takes these suggestions, they don't have to go on some kind of eBay hunt to find this shit. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
All in current publication. You can just zip over to chaosium.com and get all of those things, everything that we've mentioned.
Yeah, I think that, and again, again, it's curious that we would both pick this volume and
It
different
is funny.
scenarios in it.
I
Um,
think that is funny. Well, that
and
speaks
with
a lot to that product.
exactly. And I
That's
mean,
one of
the
those.
interesting thing is, Matt, this is not like this is included with the Chaosium Keepers kit. This isn't
Right.
even the product. So yeah, quality stuff there.
Well, yeah, in a way, it's kind of the filler, but not really, right? It's the thing that took the most work, and
Hmm.
but yes, you're right. When I'm working the booth, I often tell people that this scenario or that this keeper screen
Mhm.
comes with these two great scenarios, and arguably to me, who runs a fairly open table, and make my dice roll right in front of people, I don't often use a screen.
Right, right.
I,
Yeah,
I like to sit down right among the pack and just
yeah,
tolerate.
that could be a whole nother episode, right? Screen or no screen, right?
Well, mine would be simple.
Yeah,
No
no, sure.
screen, no
Well, I
screen.
do. I use a screen, but I roll in front of the players, right?
And so you're standing up. Are you standing up? Now you will run con games standing up. I've seen that.
I never sit down. Um, so yeah, I mean, I will occasionally sit down. Like if I'm running Mask, I'll sit down just because I have so much stuff to manage, right? I have to like sort through my
Yes.
stuff. But
Yes.
again, anytime, I honestly, if I'm running for drama, I'm standing up, right? Again, you project better.
Yeah. No.
Um,
Well, in the booth we say if you're sitting, you're not selling. So
that's right. And
for
what
the
is a
longest
keeper
time
but
we've
somebody
had
who's
no
selling
chairs in
something?
the booth room. Say that again.
If you and what is a keeper besides a salesman? You're selling a story.
I'm selling the story. Selling a good time, baby.
Right on, right on. Yeah, so I think that these two scenarios, Miss Dew's Blackwater Creek, both super solid. The Haunting, great classic
Mhm.
scenario. I would throw out as a special super secret bonus uh, scenario, Dead Man Stomp, if you're familiar with that. Uh,
No.
that that is a scenario that I think was in some of the older editions of the rule book. It's a super fun, jazzy type of scenario. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Very accessible as well. Good
Dead
stuff
man
there.
stomp.
Yep.
If I had to make an honorable mention, and I almost changed my pick right before we hit the record button on this sucker. I would pick, and I ran 3/4 of this at for a convention scenario in 4 hours. There is a scenario in Horror on the Orient Express,
Hmm.
which is set in the Gaslight era,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
called Blood Red Fez, right? The Blood Red
Yep.
Fez, and the characters go all the way to Constantinople and deal with a mythos creature, and it's
Yep.
all contained. You could do it with a home group. I bet you could do it in 2 or 3 sessions. I
Yep.
did. I did the beginning England part and then the trained part, and we had to stop right before we got, or right as they got to Constantinople. But we stopped with a little bit of a cliffhanger, so it was very enjoyable. Right,
Yep. Yep.
the active Fez was resolved on the train, and there was chills and spills and machine guns and everything that everybody likes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. Well, I think this is a wrap then. I think we will hold our secrets for the next session.
Now we're gonna get back on track here, and
Yes.
Bob, I just want you to know I finished reading the Egypt chapter because we
Yes.
because we had
Yes.
time. Longtime viewers of the show know that I don't always do my homework, but I am always prepared for the game.
That's right.
And
All
I
right. Well,
finished
I
the
can't.
Egypt chapter, and we have things to discuss.
We have things to discuss. All right. I need to do my begging. All right, subscribers, you've just been treated to a special episode where Matt and I babble about scenarios. Doesn't that make you want to subscribe? Doesn't that make you want to like this video and share it with your friends?
It would
There you
make
go.
me, it would make me, can we subscribe? We've got other
I,
accounts.
I think we should.
I
We
don't know.
should.
That's like voting for yourself. I always feel weird voting for myself for different things.
Hey, I don't know. We're up to 109 subscribers now.
109. Well, thank you.
109.
Thank you, number 9. I know. As we're going over this threshold of 100, some people have told me that they've subscribed. So I know some of the individuals. Like I know who 103 is.
Nice.
And now while this airs, if anybody, we're gonna drop this. It's Monday right now, lunchtime. We're probably gonna publish this at like Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going out of town this weekend, so maybe Thursday, which is the beginning of Chaosium Con UK. So if you're watching this and you're in England and you're on your way to the convention, Bob and I both hope you have a good time. We're not going to be there, but many of our friends are going to be there. So please, Mike Mason is going to be there. I don't know if Scott Dorwood's going to be there. Two of the people we mentioned in this show. Many members of the Chaosium team are going to be there. It's the 50th anniversary of Chaosium as a company, and I hope you all have a banging good time.